It's Power Hour LSU.
EHL, extra little bit of swag, an extra little bit of taste.
Yeah. Man, I'm headed to the field. Terror of the tiger, I'ma always keep it real. Everything gon' get devoured, it's the power. LSU with Carter, it's the power. LSU with Carter, man, I'm headed to the field. Terror of the tiger, I'ma always keep it real. Everything gon' get devoured, it's the power. LSU with Carter, it's the power. LSU with Carter, man, I'm headed to
Welcome to what should be a joyous live stream as Jvr Suggs, a defensive tackle from Grand Valley State, should be announcing his commitment soon. He said he is going to do so at 7:30 Central. We are going live here at 6 p.m. like we normally do on Wednesday. Normally I would move some things around, but I have a good feeling that he is going to pick LSU. This could be egg on my face moment because in the transfer portal era, anything can happen. Jvr Suggs getting pursued by Michigan, getting pursued by USC. And that tells you everything you need to know about the transfer portal market, that all these schools are clamoring over a DT from Grand Valley State. So, most of you come here to get my opinion on the player, not necessarily the news. We'll start with the news first. If he does indeed pick LSU, that means LSU addresses a massive need. So they get Gio Paez from Wisconsin to come over, and then they get Jvr Suggs, who to me is a little bit more of a playmaking three-technique defensive tackle. He's not the absolute biggest guy, but there are some things on tape that do stand out to me about him. And for one, I do believe this is a guy that can get into the backfield and make plays. So this is just a clip from one of their playoff games. He is the left side defensive tackle on this play. And let me make sure the volume's off. There you go. And as you'll see here, he gets into the backfield and makes a massive play. He's got a lot of explosiveness, and this time he was unblocked. And actually, this is not the play that I intended on breaking down here. But let's see, is this the one? I actually put the wrong marker up. Okay, it's the next one here, I believe. Here with Jvr Suggs. And
Storm Master will transform.
Do anything for me?
For top.
We will do a film study on Jvr Suggs eventually. See, that wasn't it. Okay. I guess I lost my marker there. But the bottom line, are the sounds on for the for this? Okay. The bottom line is I did watch him today, and he did look good. Now, once again, you're having to calibrate for competition, but he is going to come in and hopefully give you some snaps. What I'll do is we'll take a break, and I'll find the clip that I wanted to point out. He made a ridiculous tackle in the open field on a reverse, and then he also had a great pass rush around that time in the game. So my apologies on that. Now, the next thing is, how will Brian Kelly be viewed in this situation where you weren't really in it to get a defensive tackle for Jvr Suggs, right? You were trying to get Dominic Williams. You're trying to get Simeon Barry. You're trying to get someone else. I do think some of the hysteria around the defensive tackle room isn't necessarily that LSU really needed some help. They did. It's that there's just not a whole lot of news surrounding this LSU team. You look towards every single offseason that LSU has been involved with, especially, towards the end of the Orgeron tenure. there was a lot of news. There was a lot of things going on around that time period. I think some of the defensive line hysteria has been overblown. Yes, LSU will lose 2 or 3 extra games if they don't have good defensive tackle play at all. But at this point, we're not even looking for good. We are looking for serviceable. So for me, when it comes to the LSU defensive tackle room, I just need serviceable at this point. And if you can't get serviceable, teams are just going to run the football down your throat, win time of possession battle, which I think is a little overrated, but they will be able to run the football and get off explosive plays time in and time out. We say hi to Tyler. We say hi to Tony the Tiger. We say hi to Mick, Jason, and everyone else a part of the PHL Nation. Okay. So, for me, I'm looking forward to what LSU has coming in on defense, not only from just the transfer portal, but potentially from the high school ranks. I've grown a little on Dominic McKinley potentially being a huge year one guy, even though I feel he's more of a year two stud breakout type of player. So we'll see how that plays out. We say hi to Lance watching in Puerto Rico. I love it. Tyler, Jared, good to see you guys in here as well. Mick. So there you go. I am really mad. This is such a long video. I'm really, really, really mad that I lost this clip. I have no idea what the heck happened with that. Let me see. Okay. God, that angers me. I was working on this all freaking day, and then you get to this point, and you lose it. I feel like I just say, okay, all right. I see what I did. Now, this is what I want to show you. It's Jvr Suggs, Grand Valley State, in a playoff game versus someone. Don't know who. He is in the Zero Tech nose right here, and I want you to watch this play he makes right up the gut. This is my favorite place as a defensive tackle. We had a lot of success doing this last year. Mason Smith, just putting a guy head up over the center and just dominating that potential one-on-one matchup. And watch what he does here. Okay, this is a bit of a screen, but look how quickly he is able to get into the backfield and force this and knock the quarterback out right there. And once again, it was a screen out that they did end up dumping that off, but the ability to get into the backfield there was pretty impressive, if you ask me. There was another one a few plays before this, and let's see. All right, I believe it is. I believe it's this one right here. All right. Let me go to this. Okay. I'll just have to do a completely different video. Huh? Oh man, I'm so angry. I'm so angry because there was a run stop on a reverse that he had in this game, and for some reason the markers, because it's a different type of stream, I'm so used to, my own markers and stuff like that. But I'll do a different video just for you. In fact, I'll just post it on the Patreon. We say hi to Billy. We say hi to Tony. Good to see all of you. Now, next thing, and I want to be completely honest about LSU moving forward. I do feel the Tigers are in a position where, well, I keep going back on this premise that the schedule does set up really nicely for LSU this next year. I do feel, for me, and it could be different for you guys, I do feel pretty comfortable about USC in week 1. I don't feel as if this game is going to be as tough as people put it out to be. I still think USC is going to be good. One thing I think that is very underrated is how good Florida State has been these last couple of years. They had a little bit more of an identity in both of those season openers. They had a better idea of who they were as a team. And USC will have a first-time starter in Miller Moss, a first-time full-time starter. He started, of course, a bowl game. I feel a little bit better about that matchup than I did these past couple of seasons versus Florida State, where I did end up picking LSU to beat Florida State in both of those games. But if you actually just watch the film studies and you watch the commentary around those times, it was pretty clear that I thought Florida State was a very, very good team. Obviously, USC has changed quite a bit with bringing in UCLA's defensive coordinator to run the ship, but as of right now, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good. As Gabe points out, I would much rather play Nicholls State week 1 to get a nice warm up game. I totally get that. We say hi to Dom. Is Suggs an LSU lock? I'm not going to say he's a lock. And like I've said on pretty much every live stream, at this point, I only care if you actually do commit. I'm not as big into the day-to-day recruiting of transfer portal players anymore. But based on what I've heard and what I've seen, I do believe he will pick LSU. So there you go. I am still so mad at myself for butchering this opening film study because I sifted through a good portion of this Grand Valley State versus Saginaw playoff game, and just for me to lose my spot and discombobulate everything. But that's okay. These types of things happen. The thing that really screwed me up about that game is they had the same exact commercial break every single time. And I'm like, wait, why would you have the same exact commercial break every single time? And then I'd say to myself, well, I have the same exact break pretty much every time as well. But I don't have 3 hours and 4 quarters of football inventory to sell. Oh man, I love it. But once again, my apologies on that because that did look terrible, and I hold myself to a high standard. Jared, I hope you start to feel better, and don't forget, first $20 super chat will get an autograph from my LSU autograph collection. I'll just go pick something out real quick. What are we going to give out today? We're going to give out an underrated Tiger, a somewhat overshadowed Tiger, the great Darrell Williams. We'll give out one of his autograph cards tonight. First $20 super chat, we'll get that. Also have a Kayshawn card I'll give out. $20 Kayshawn Booty. And look, it has my name on it. Power. There you go. Let's go to Amacat. Is Suggs that much better than who we already have? Man, it's a stretch. It's a stretch for me to get there. But I do think he's as good as like what we have now. And I know that's not necessarily, saying a whole lot, but I am very happy to to say that LSU just needs somebody. And once he commits here in an hour and some change, I feel pretty good about him actually doing that. We will be in a lot better spot. Now, speaking of sports cards, this is something that Tyler normally shows up to. We got another card show coming up. Saturday, June 29th. We normally do this at the Bossier City Civic Center, but they were booked up. So the event has moved to Broadmoor Methodist Church, 3715 Uri Drive in Shreveport. I don't think it's too far from where we normally do it. I've never been to this venue before, but we'll see you there. Saturday, June 29th. That is a month and a half from now. And autographs, all kinds of stuff. I'll be giving away a good bit of my collection like I normally do. You can ask TJ. It's always a very, very, very fun event. You can ask, obviously, the great Tyler T. He's been to the event before. So really excited about that. Now, let's go to Kevin. He says, Blake Baker played a lot of players on defense last year. Suggs gives us flexibility. Baker can mix guys to their strengths and make play calls to their strengths. All right. Yeah, I think Suggs is a little bit more of a true three-technique defensive tackle, as in he is a pure playmaking, get in the backfield kind of guy. He's not going to be one of these space eater types of guys. I do think he can put on some weight as he joins a Division I Power 5 weight program, but I feel as if we're sitting pretty good. And what I might do is I actually might cut a film study and air it right when he commits, but that will require me to end this live stream early, and I don't want to do that. Because I was just going to do it here, but I screwed up. Let's go to Amacat. Or I screwed up. I take responsibility of it. And the two Tennessee DBs, that would put us at 85 total scholarship players. Now, I want to get into the next topic here, okay? And it is a somewhat juicy one. Cormani McClain. He picks Florida. Okay. He picks Florida over LSU. There was just some push for LSU to go get Cormani McClain. I was able to confirm that there was interest. It wasn't just out there just to be out there. Sometimes at any level of sport, you will just float out their interest to drive your price up, if you will. Okay. And, no one would actually just shoot it down because it still helps all parties involved, right? It's kind of like when the Brian Kelly or when the Lincoln Riley to LSU rumors were around, it helped everybody involved in that process. So no one actually really shot that down. But I do feel LSU was interested in Cormani McClain, and he goes to Florida. Now, the reason why I bring this up is twofold. I don't know how much LSU really pushed for Cormani McClain, but he is going to a school that we will play the next 2 seasons. And if he's good, then obviously really isn't a good thing for us. But he is a bit of a head case. It was a rough exit from Colorado, and Dion has publicly criticized him. And you can have your opinions on Dion, but if there is one thing I'll trust him with, this DB evaluation. I think Cormani McClain could be a very good player. It just depends on how focused and locked on he is to the task at hand. So there is a piece of me that's happy that we didn't actually get him, because these 5-star DB types have been headaches, okay? What I will say, though, what I have found to be very interesting is Cormani McClain committed to Florida without a scholarship available. So Florida is at the full 85 scholarship amount, and Cormani McClain is just joining the team as a walk-on in hopes that a scholarship eventually opens up. And well, that could happen, right? You can process someone and give them a scholarship, right? Apparently, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but whatever the case may be, I see this comment from Amacat. I just don't know, like, how important being at 85 is anymore. Okay, whether it's NIL or whatever, if you truly believe that school can take your ability to the next level and get you to, the NFL or maybe a potential better school in year 3, or you just really want to be at a certain place and time in your life, then sure, you can swallow not paying or not getting a scholarship and just walking on and paying your way through it. And there's plenty of ways that they can circumnavigate the scholarship count. So what I will tell you, McCann, is I actually reached out to someone that I trust in the college football world that's worked in administration. And what he told me was that there is a discussion ongoing for a total roster cap for all teams, right? Where, like, there's no longer any walk-ons at all. You're only allowed to have X amount of players. Now, I believe the maximum is like 120 or something like that, or there might not even be a maximum. I don't know. But I do think the powers that be are thinking about putting a roster cap. So there you go. We say hi to Leslie. We say hi to Pressure. Don't forget, first $20 super chat gets a Daryl Williams autograph card in the mail. Okay. Now, next thing. And I truly do believe LSU is in the market to get another DB and potentially another defensive lineman. Might not be a tackle. And LSU is very interested in Wesley Matthews and Tyler Barron, the Tennessee duo, the Step Brothers. Okay. There is interest. Will it actually happen? I don't know. But now what I want to do, and we do this all the time, we are so focused in on the transfer portal guys, when honestly, your team comes down oftentimes to how good the players that you already have on your team are. Okay. And that normally includes transfers that are going into year 2, right? It's rare that one player can truly change everything in his first year at the program, or only 1 year at a program. Cam Newton's in that list, and there's plenty others. Jarek Bernard Converse for us. I mean, there's plenty of other examples, but most of your best players spend at least 2 years at your school. At least. Even in the portal era, at least 2 years at your school. And one thing I did, and this was on the SEC channel, I want to show you something that will make a lot of you feel a little bit better about this next year's team. Okay. Now, in terms of sample size, we talked about that yesterday, the word sample size. Normally, the best teams, their base of the team, the key players to your roster are the ones that are entering year 3 of their careers. Okay? Because the year 3 year means that your best players are more often than not in the prime of their college careers. It also means that the maximum amount of elite players from a certain recruiting class will be on that team, because obviously some guys go to the NFL. Now, the 2022 recruiting class at LSU is going into their year 3. All right. And I want to just show you the names from the 2022 recruiting class. Now, a lot of you know who these players are already, but I'm going to use on 3 for this. Take a look at this class. All right. This was the nationally ranked 12th class, the 4th in the SEC. Look at this. Harold Perkins going into year 3. Should be his best year at LSU. Will Campbell going into year 3. Should be a top 10 pick. Obviously, Walker Howard, Quincy Wiggins, big misses. But Emory Jones, top 100 player going into year 3. LaTerrence Welsh, miss. Demario Tolan, miss. Robinson, miss. Could you get something out of Jordan Allen this next year at safety? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Landon Ibieta has been mostly hurt. Tyjee Hill no longer there. But then you get down here. Fitzgerald West is gone. But Mason Taylor, of course, we know he is a stud. And we also know Bo Bordelon is a guy that's really well liked. He's a son of an LSU legend, and then or an LSU really good player. And you got Nathan Dybert down here as a really good kickoff specialist. Bo Bordelon could shock some people this next year as a backup offensive lineman. But every recruiting class has roughly 3 superstars in it. LSU has 3 bona fide superstars, and I believe Mason Taylor is a superstar, or at least he is a star. So 4-star players in a recruiting class is a lot, and they only signed 15 guys from high school that year. All right? It is amazing how often you can look at which teams are bad and which teams are good, or which teams have their better years compared to other years. And it coincides with the recruiting class from 2 years prior being abso-freaking-lutely loaded, like a higher than normal hit rate. And the hit rate on that 2022 LSU class is absurd. It's absolutely absurd, right? Yes, there are some big misses in there. Quincy Wiggins really does hurt. LaTerrence Welsh, with the secondary being the way that it is, really does hurt, okay? But the truth is, that is a championship level class. It really is. Now, you don't just need those guys, but all those guys are going to be entering what, in theory, is the prime of their careers. And we've already seen how good they are. Okay? So, I'm telling you right now, yes, you can look at LSU and see all the holes, but you're going to get better coaching, and one of the highest hit rates in LSU history is entering their prime season. That is a really, really, really good hit rate. Especially a Bo Bordelon could give you something. But the simple truth is there are about to be 4 true freshmen from that class that are 3-year starters. That's pretty much right out the womb, is what I like to call it. From the get-go, started giving you production. And that type of leadership, that type of experience, that type of NFL upside excites me, and it should excite you, and it should excite the team, right? And the truth is, pretty much any defensive tackle you're going to bring in is not going to have near the impact on a game that any of those 4 players are going to have on a lot of games for LSU next year. So, the only reason we have talked about the defensive line room so much is because of, it's not that great. And we were very public about us going to get other defensive linemen. But honestly, I just keep going back to it. It's just one of those things where it just piled up for the sake of piling up because there really wasn't anything else going on. Let's go to Cortland. We say hi to Chase. What's up, CD? Good to see you, man. A very busy life, you. It's good to have you back. And once again, first $20 super chat, Daryl Williams autograph card is going to you. Okay. Let's see. Making sure he didn't say 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, but he should be committing in an hour to LSU. He should be picking LSU. Let's go to Cortland. How much of the lack of fall portal movement at DT was about trying to flip high school guys and keep Smith and/or Wingo? All right, so I'll start with the first. High school guys, not so much from LSU's point of view, because so much of their focus was for the defensive tackle position as far as high school recruiting was on Dominic McKinley, and they were able to get him, obviously, with that happening on New Year's Eve. Keep Smith and/or Wingo, there was a pretty big push for that to happen. Now, it's someone who's gotten to learn a little bit more about those guys personally. I don't know neither of them personally, but just people in their orbit. I cannot stress enough how much the defensive line coach movement had an effect on them, right? And I'm one of those guys that tends to think that most position coaches are a product of the players that they have and the environment that they're in. And a lot of position coaches are a product of the coordinator that they are with. With that said, there was a lot that happened that if I was in the shoes of Mason Smith or Mekhi Wingo, I probably would have gone to the NFL as well. Even if LSU offered me a pretty sexy NIL package, and both of them, I think, made the right decision. Mekhi Wingo still ended up getting drafted. Mason Smith went into the top 50, which according to most experts, big boards, it was a reach. But I don't really care. I hope Mason does really well. They really did try, and they really tried to tell them, hey, Bo Davis is coming. Bo Davis is going to be by far the best defensive tackles coach, and he's only going to coach the DTs, and he's going to get you into the first round because he got these other. You got one in the first round, another in the second round, but Sweat was projected to go in the first round for a while. Murphy pretty much the entire time. It was just hard. It was really, really, really hard. And man, I just, once again, if I was in their shoes, I probably would have gone as well. I really would. Now, I think your question also, Cortland, had more to do with, did us focusing in on those guys take away from the potential to go get other guys? And the answer to that is yes. The only thing that all of us have in common is time. It really is the only thing. We all have the same time in a day, okay? Time is the only resource that is infinite yet not infinite. And what makes that interesting is the time you spend recruiting someone else is heavily impacted by the time that you could be recruiting a guy that really wants to be here. And that did happen. I can assure you that did happen with LSU's focus on Dominic Williams. I will say it did have an impact on a few of the other defensive tackles that were a part of this cycle. All right. But I will also tell you that a lot of guys that go portaling are players that are portaling for a reason. All right. I feel like there's 3 different levels of portal guys. There are guys that are in the portal because they can't play. They're just not good. And they're just going somewhere else just for the sake of it. And it's amazing how many times, like, a player who's not good at one school goes to another school, and the other school is shocked that this player is not really good at all. I see this a lot on the offensive line in particular, where offensive linemen who don't play at their first school, there's still a market for it because so many teams need offensive linemen. And if you have a decent 4-star rating, or if you've played a certain amount of snaps, even if you got your ass beat time in and time out, it's amazing that you could still land somewhere potentially better than your last stop. I won't say who because it's not really the focus of us, but there was an SEC offensive tackle that started in a game versus us, got his ass kicked for a 4-quarter game. I mean, just got mollywopped. He entered the portal and went to a better school, went to a better landing spot than where he was. It's amazing how many times I've seen that happen. So you got that group of guys, some of which they'll go in the portal and never get out. And the only reason they're going to the portal is because they weren't good at their first stop. The second group of portal guys are guys that are trying to up the ante. They're trying to get a bigger payday. And I think there's two subsets of people in there. Some of which that are younger, let's say a Caleb Downs, who is going to be a first-round pick. But then you have these guys that have played multiple years of college ball, but they are good and they can get paid more going to another school, but they're not good enough to go to the NFL. So is it really worth paying that person $750K or whatever it is? I don't know. I guess it depends on your needs, your fit, and how good that player is. But if they really were good, they would be going to the NFL. Okay. So the third group of portal guys are the rarest. All right. They are guys that just want to go to a better landing spot, but not necessarily wanting to. There might be a coach change or something like that, but they're just going to a better landing spot just for the sake of it. Jarek Bernard-Converse is definitely one of those guys. You know, LSU didn't have to pay an arm and a leg to get him, but he was a really good player. He was from Louisiana. He was at Oklahoma State, and then he came home to LSU. So that's how I feel the different subsets of players that are in the portal. So there you go. We welcome 5 Adam to the channel. Welcome. I talk about the 2011 game, 9-6. I was on the field for that game. Good to see you, 5 Adam. Uh-oh. He's here. He's here, ladies and gentlemen. The Master Blaster. Good to see you, Tony. What's up, team? Tony's the only member of PHL that bowled a 298. KJ. What's good, man? He says, trust the process. I see the word mercenary used quite a bit. I will tell you this, and you know, I'm more. There should be a stream dedicated to Jvr Suggs. I kind of need to wait now until 7:30 to see if he actually does commit. Because if he doesn't commit, then you guys are gonna be after me. Let's go to Mason Dixon. Are you related to Richard? That's all I want to know. All right. Y'all want a dad joke? Oh, I got a good dad joke. And it's here. And it's forming. And it's going to be magical. Richard Dixon might not be your brother. But y'all want to know who Mason Dixon's brother actually is? Florida, Georgia. Yeah, I'll have to admit that crushed. That freaking crushed. There's a reason why your boy did it to it for 5 years. Hey, mate. Y'all have to admit that joke was fire. Straight fire. And if you need me to explain it, I can. What does BK mean when the sum of his parts will be greater than any individual person? And by the way, I should explain it. So Florida Georgia line is a country group, and Mason Dixon line is a I don't even know what the Mason Dixon line is. It's some kind of geography thing. But y'all didn't like it. That's okay. What does BK mean when he keeps saying the sum of his parts is better than any individual person? All right. Good example. Let me see. It's actually a relatively common phrase, sum of your parts, meaning, let's just say someone was in the chat right now and they had been a big contributor, to the channel. But let's just say they just come on here and they just nonstop start talking about, I don't know, music or politics or whatever. Okay. Well, it disrupts the chat. It ruins like the flow of the channel and so on and so on. So more than likely, I would ask that person to stop, even if they're donating money or whatever, because we want the show to be good. So the sum of all of us is more important than one individual person. So, like a good example of this is Denver Harris last year. All right. He was an individual person that was a teen cancer, started fights, so on and so on. Okay. He was not worth having around. Even if he was a good player, he probably wasn't worth having around. It's just how it is. Okay. So, what Brian Kelly is alluding to is, in particular, he doesn't want to pay someone more than what he has to pay Will Campbell or Emory Jones, because those are the two best players on the team. So no individual person is going to outweigh or weigh down per se the success of the team. Okay, and that's what he means by that. He makes references about process and all of that, but that's part of it. Okay, was well, if Jvr Suggs is as good as Terrell Suggs, T Sizzle. If Suggs commits, that gives us a defensive line with a bunch of 4th, 5th, and 6-year seniors. I think the highest paid defensive line coach should be able to make some of those guys at least decent. Yeah, I would think so. Pegasus. And I would also think LSU would be in a spot where Blake Baker has as big of an impact as, let's say, Kevin Peoples or Bo Davis, right? You really, really, really need the scheme to take a massive leap forward this next year. And I love talking scheme. It's a little bit tougher to do on a live stream, better on a film study. But Blake is going to do a better job of getting us in spots that are more advantageous for our defense to succeed. Okay. 3 sacks for $1 million. Yeah, I'll say this. Last thing on Dominic Williams, and then we'll get to some of your other questions and super chats and all of that stuff. Okay. I and Nikki, it's 7:30 Central, so we'll see. I've heard every number under the sun for Dominic Williams. The way I understood it is it wasn't $1 million for just this year. I think it was anywhere from 1 to 1.5 for like a 2-year situation, but he might not be at the school after this next year. I just think it's going to go sour. And look, there's more to it than just that, than just the money. Why I soured just a bit on him. And look, I'm not just saying that because he didn't pick LSU. There's some guys that we're interested in that I wouldn't necessarily be on fire about joining the team. And if they do, I probably still feel that way, but I'm still going to be a fan as well of them and want them to succeed. But the truth here, I truly do believe that in the long run, LSU will be better off without him. I truly do believe it. Especially if Suggs is decent and can help us move to the next level. Now, let me get to a few more. I don't want to miss any of your questions. 100K and a slab of smoked Bayou ribs will get it done. Huh? Oh, man, I love it. One way you can support PHL is by supporting those who support me, especially with something near and dear to my heart.
I think joy and happiness and doing things you like is important.
My favorite thing is sports cards. When I'm not on YouTube, I am building my collection. And when I started, I wish there was a sports card strategy show.
He wasn't necessarily going to be a first-round pick before all this Heisman buzz. Now they're talking about him being a top 5 pick.
Paul Hickey and the team at nooffseason.com personally helped build my Jaden Daniels collection, and they're looking to do the same for you. Just check them out on social media or nooffseason.com. Big shout out Paul Hickey and the crew. Go subscribe to their show, the Sports Card Strategy Show, nooffseason.com. Okay, let's go to Jared. Jared, thank you so much. In pain sending me super chats. This is a man going through a restructuring of his entire body. Hooking me up. I appreciate it, Jared. Any topic you want to get to, Jared, we'll go straight to it. Let's go to Amacat. We want players that are more interested in playing for LSU instead of their NIL. Yeah, in theory, that's what everyone would want. People playing for, the LSU. And look, most kids in Louisiana want to play for LSU. I mean, that's just a dream offer. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's really, really, really tough to find those guys that really want to buy in. But then again, there are plenty of guys that love LSU that still transfer out, but it's just not going to work out. And ultimately, for a player, they want to play, right? That's the most important thing, is just playing. That's the case for most players. So it's hard to find that balance, right? Like, going to get guys that will fight tooth and nail, blood, sweat, and tears for LSU. And they're going to get guys that have options to go wherever they want to go. So yeah, it's a difficult balance. It really, really, really is. I do think, though, the allure of playing for a certain school is not the same. You want to go where you can be maxed out, not only as a player, but also as a potential NFL prospect, as a person, and so on and so on. Now, I'm biased because I got an LSU education, and I'm a mostly happy person. But there you go. From the parish, love you some Gabe Relford. Have we not talked a lot about Gabe recently, even though his parents are actually other player parents. His parents are big supporters of what we're doing. So good to see Gabe have a good spring game, and obviously he's got a very, very, very bright future. I'm also interested to see the development of Ahmad Bro as he makes his transition to defensive tackle. Now, next thing, okay? And I really want this to be clear because I am not smart enough to decipher the college baseball landscape. But LSU does have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series coming up here against Ole Miss. And I've seen tournament projections all over the place for LSU. Win 2-3 versus Ole Miss. And I think that should settle things. But I don't know. Maybe I'm underselling it. Not the season that we're wanting to have, but we'll see. I'm also excited to pull for LSU softball as they get ready for their NCAA tournament push. They're a team that has a more realistic chance to win a national championship this year. So let's do this damn thing, LSU softball. This is your year, Beth. It has still pissed me off, though, that they got that number 9 seed. That 9-8 seed is so big. It is so big. And there you go. Let's go to Chance. He says he believes LSU needs to sweep Ole Miss and win 1 or 2 in the tourney. Once again, I'm definitely not smart enough to decipher that. I am not Kendall Rogers. But what I can tell you is if the NCAA tournament committee has a choice to make between LSU and another school with a semi-similar resume or a resume that might be slightly better than LSU's, they're going to put LSU in. LSU would get the Duke basketball treatment just to get them in the NCAA tournament. Okay? They're going to get them in. They're going to get them in. Hey, they don't care. Put LSU in the field. I feel like LSU fans right now are like a shark in the water, and someone just like threw one scrap of a chicken wing into the water, and the sharks fight over it. Right? That's how hungry LSU fans are for a defensive tackle. You could have said a DT was coming in from a Division IV school, and LSU fans would be excited. But I did watch Jvr Suggs, and I'll put up a film study on Patreon probably tomorrow. Okay? Let's see here. Is my sound perfect? I was trying to play a bunch of different stuff. Yeah, it looks pretty good. But that could just be me. Max says they got to win some games this weekend. LSU's going to take 2 of 3 this weekend. I feel good about it. Lock it in. Lock it in. There's just too many good vibes coming from Paul Skeen's recent start. Lock it in. Okay. Now, as we always do for the Wednesday 1-hour streams, we might go till 7:30 until his commitment. But if you want to keep this going, feel free to super chat in the next 10 to 15 minutes. I'll answer as many as I possibly can. If you got any questions about LSU football or anything, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. I don't know what time we're going to go live tomorrow. It'll probably we might push it to Friday, actually, because I know a lot of you are going to be locked in for LSU baseball. But more than likely, we'll do it tomorrow at 5 p.m. But this is our normal live stream schedule. Thanks once again to our friends at nooffseason.com. Now, tonight's also a big night in the NFL, which means Underdog Fantasy. Sign up now. Use my promo code Carter for a deposit match bonus up to $100. Underdog Fantasy, underdogfantasy.com. The NFL schedule is going to be released tonight. Okay. NFL schedule. I have my new Saints show, Believe in Saints. It is in the description down below. I will have a full schedule breakdown tomorrow on Believe in Saints. Okay. Let's see. That's interesting. This comes in from Phil. He sent this via Twitter DMs. Sorry for just not seeing this. He sent this 10 minutes into the show. He said, Carter, thank you for telling me about Nikola Jokic. He bet the Denver Nuggets last time they covered. Jokic, man. That is a bad, bad, bad dude, man. He is a bad, bad, bad man. Nikola Jokic. It's going to be hard to beat Denver. But we'll see. I need to start the game console fund. I've had a few of you request some NCAA video game football content on here. I'll think about it. I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that. I would just get so addicted and only want to do like video game content because that used to be all I did was play video games, go outside, and then come back in and play video games. Okay. So LSU's baseball win total in conference sits at 10. So if they sweep Ole Miss, they get to 13. And what is it? Normally 13 wins in the SEC will get you into the NCAA tournament. But yeah, your super chats are going towards a game console fund. Your patronage. I have a feeling Cortland is going to join our Patreon tonight. I have a feeling that a lot of you in the chat are going to join our Patreon tonight. Every single one of you gets a Joe Burrow card in the mail from yours truly. Patreon.com/LSU Football. Okay. Caitlin Clark, 10 turnovers last night in her debut. maybe the WNBA was right. Maybe a lot of the old timers are like, hey, she's not ready for this. We'll see. First game. Not selling my Caitlin stock just yet. I will see Angel Reese though. Chicago Sky are my team now. I am sky high for the sky. Now, I want to chat a little bit here about the LSU offense. All right. And this is the big debate that that I've been involved with other LSU channels like Blake's and on Twitter, at Power Hour LSU, all that good stuff. And the big debate has been, well, do we need to run the football more to control the clock and win the time of possession battle, to give our defense more of a chance to succeed? And my answer to that is only if that is the optimal way for your offense to operate. You don't want to burn clock for the sake of burning clock. You know, the best thing you can do to beat a team is keep scoring. Is just score at will. And yes, you look at some of the recent champions, a lot of them did have good time of possession numbers, but others are normally in like the 40s and 50s when it comes to the time of possession battle. Time of possession is such a fluky statistic that you really can't, rely on it to tell you if a team is going to win or not. Now, there are some instances where time of possession can help you in a sports betting situation or in a prediction situation. But I think a stat like how long you wait before you actually run your next play is more interesting to me than time of possession. All right. But this idea that, you need to have long, like game killing drives or whatever. Sure. If you're able to get 5-6 yards every time, do it. But if the offense best operates moving quickly, then that's what you should do. The name of the game is to score more points than the other team, right? Well, what's the best way to score more points than the other team? Is by keeping scoring. Okay. So, I will never actually just buy in to running the ball just for the sake of it. Now, do I think that there is a bunch of benefits of running the ball? Yeah, because it gives your defense more time to settle and get ready for the next drive. And it is, in theory, something that can shorten the game. But, it's just kind of hard to quantify that. Is it second and third down conversions? I mean, there's a lot of different things. But yeah, if LSU can have 7-8 minute drive, sure. I would prefer that over anything else. But if the best method for them to move the football is by going quickly and playing with pace, do that. Let's go to Jared Super Chat. I love a good, dominant, clock-eating run game. I do too. But trust me, like, I grew up thinking that time and possession and all that was the be-all, end-all. And I prefer football to be played that way. It's less frantic, and so on and so on. But whatever works the best offensively, that is what you should do. Okay? That is what you should do. Let's go to Chance. He says Florida got in with 12 wins in the NCAA tournament once, but had an RPI of 18. Okay. Okay. Let's see. TOP can sap your opponent's will. It can. No, I mean, yeah. It just, to me, honestly, my offensive philosophy is very simple. Whatever you do the best, do that very thing. Right? I think where you can get in trouble is just trying to be too multiple. Like, if you're scoring at will, but your defense is also giving up points, then that's not your concern. You need to keep scoring at will. Because what if you change things up and you run the ball or do whatever differently, run screens or whatever, and you get stopped? That still doesn't solve the problem because you got to get the ball back. The defense still has to go out there and get a stop. All right, we'll take a few more here. You know what's funny? LSU let's see this. I will say it is a little bit more aesthetically pleasing if you can go 6 yards here, 7 yards here, 6 yards here, 7 yards here. But there's some beautiful about that. Let me see. What was the there's I'm still so mad for those that just joined us. Oh man. The Cormani McClain tweets are so funny. Oh God. There was something else I wanted to get to outside of the time of possession thing. Yeah, and Suggs is committing in the next 20 minutes or so. And I kind of hinted last night that this was going to go in this direction. Let's go to Jenkins. Hot take. Most DT transfers don't want to take a chance on going against the best online in the country and get buried in the depth chart. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Because at this point, you just want to go somewhere where you can play. Well, LSU is a place where you can play. LSU is a place where you can play. Oh, man. These Florida, oh, God. Cormani McClain going to Florida is going to be so freaking great. Oh, man. This is going to go really well. And by really well, it is going to crash and burn. It is going to crash and Burn. Oh my God. And yeah, it does concern me that a 5-star corner is going to a school that we have to play not only this year but the next year. And like I said earlier, there was interest from LSU, but I just do not see this going well. There's just it's just tough. It's just tough. Let's go to David here. Yeah, Suggs is the biggest guy. Like I mentioned earlier, he's going to be a pure 3 tech, right? Not an interior space eater. That's a little bit more what Gio Paez does, but I think there's a piece of him that would want to do some 3 tech after playing a 0 nose last year. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Oh man. I just have a bad feeling for Florida fans and the Cormani McClain stuff. I think that they think they're getting their next Henderson or Vernon Hargreaves or whoever, whichever Florida corner you want to mention. They think that's what they're getting. Don't know if that's what's going to happen. I really don't know if he's good or not. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see this year. He could shut me up. He could totally shut me up. I'm not gonna put this tweet up. I want to so bad because sometimes I don't have good grammar. But he, God, that would be so. That's so funny. Oh man, that is so good. Cortland says the Florida staff is not good. It's not good. And, well, could be right. Could be right. So, before the big commitment here, I'll put up JVR's stats here. 6'3", 282 from Flint, Michigan. Okay. Now, the only thing I'll say that's very interesting, redshirting in 2019. I don't know if he took a year off in 2020. So 2021, member of the GVSU football team. So basically his first full 3 seasons of collegiate football, he didn't play. And then 21 tackles in year 4. All right. And then year 5 here, 21 tackles as well with 2 extra sacks. So he has 2 full years of playing. Very interesting career arc. Now, oh yes, Division II didn't play. This is D2. So thank you for correcting me. So very, very, very interesting career path. So he's got one more year of eligibility left. Okay. The thing that's interesting is that he didn't play. That's the thing that's shocking to me here. And I've only based with JVR. I've only watched games from this past year, but in year 3 he was a member of the team, but he didn't play at all. It's interesting. I think Pegasus, and I actually talked about Mekhi Wingo twice in an Arkansas video I did on my SEC channel today. Mingo wasn't the biggest guy when he got to LSU, and heck, when he got to Missouri, but he put in the work to change his body, and Mason Smith actually did a lot of work, put in a lot of work for his body as well. But he coming into LSU had Division I Power 5 size, but it is something you can work on. I mean, you really got to put in the work, though. Yeah, LSU a bit in a predicament here because they moved a little slow in the transfer portal DT market. True, where I would defend LSU here, and it will sound like I'm carrying water, but this is still all relatively new, right? Like this, I know we're entering year 3 of the portal, but with NIL and all of this, it's still kind of new, right? Like, if you were to go spend what you needed to spend to go get Walter Nolan, maybe LSU would have viewed that as, well, if we were to do that, then the chances of us getting Mason Smith or Mekhi Wingo back is going to be very small. So, I don't know. I think Walter Nolan's really good, though. And he definitely would have been, the best defensive tackle on our team and a top 3 player on our defense. Okay. Now, we're coming up 9 minutes until his commitment. I'll stay on for the next 9. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to fire them in. I normally only do an hour. Let's see. So Dev, good to see you. He says my little brother goes to GVSU, Grand Valley State. Well, you and your little brother and Brian Kelly and JVR all have something in common. This will go down as like one of my worst moments. So if he does end up choosing somewhere else, I feel really good about it. But earlier I had my little film study thing I cut. Screw up earlier. And couldn't get it to play right. Then I tell you that I feel pretty good about him going to LSU. Just for him to go somewhere else. But like I always say, I am not the insider. Okay. I've not put in a crystal ball prediction or anything like that. Wow. Wow. Okay. Let me make sure I'm reading this correctly. Okay. Saints schedule just dropped. All right. Saints schedule just dropped. And I don't think I've ever seen this before. All right. And I'll tell you why a little bit later. Why is this frustrating for me? The 24 Saints schedule is out. And they do not have a divisional game the last 7 weeks of the year. All right. I want to show you this really quickly. Okay. There we go. Here. Okay. So Panthers, Cowboys, Eagles, Falcons, Chiefs, Bucks, Broncos, Chargers, Panthers, Falcons. And then they have the Bucks in week 18. So they do have one division game to end the year on week 18. But that is so interesting to go that long, from November 17th to December 29th with no divisional games. Very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that. Everybody, welcome Colin to the channel. Yeah, Lee didn't. D2 did not play. Yeah. There we go. Blanche, good to have you back. Who is a backup center? That should be Cohen Eccles next year. I think it could be a wide variety of people. I could see Bo Bordelon be the third team center or someone along those lines. But that is so interesting. That is so interesting. Yeah, I don't know the whole story behind the Tyler Barron stuff. If Ole Miss has to sign or any of that BS, I really don't know. Okay. I really don't know. And I won't really worry too much about it until we get a little bit more steam going in LSU's direction. Okay. Let me see. I don't think there's going to be like a video or anything like that. I think it's just going to be a post. Let's see. Let's go to Kevin. Ole Miss does have to sign a release for Barron. It's an SEC rule. One name to hire for Barron to change the rule. Tom Mars. He has been an eternity to change the transfer rule over the years. Yeah, so I'm guessing it's because Barron, even though he's at Louisville, he went to Ole Miss, and technically he is re-entering the portal again later in the process, and it's Ole Miss to LSU. So maybe that's it. Dev went to go see his brother at Grand Valley State to put in a good word. I like it. Jenkins says Jvr Suggs is a great defensive tackle name. What makes a good DT name, though? Is it an apostrophe? Is that it? It might be. I think Ndamukong Suh has an apostrophe now that I think about it. Yeah, Chase, I don't know. I don't know. There might have been some kind of language that he signed off on when he committed to Ole Miss. I don't know. I really, really, really don't know. But like I've said from the get-go regarding Tyler Barron, if you go to 4 different schools in a matter of a few months, these kinds of things begin to pile up. They really, really, really do. Yeah. Pretty surprised. Pretty surprised. Okay. Anthony Freak Johnson was a great name, but he was anything but. I think that's a little harsh. Freak Johnson didn't live up to his 5-star billing and the hype. But he was still a solid SEC player. He was solid. Was he elite? No. Should he have come back for his senior year? Yes. Okay. So it's official. LSU gets it in. Okay. Jvr Suggs is locked in. Congrats. LSU has got a DT. Jvr Suggs, the pride of Grand Valley State, gets it done. Shout him out. Every single one of you are jumping for joy. Come on down, JVR. 21 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 4 PBUs. Michigan and Kentucky were the other 2 finalists, as we mentioned earlier. Michigan, I'd heard a little bit about Kentucky, but who's really going to play for Mark Stoops over Brian Kelly? Are you freaking kidding me? I could understand Michigan, but really? Shout out to you, Jvr Suggs. Good day to be an LSU Tiger. the Jared Verse, or better terms, of Braden Fisk, that you're talking about defensive tackles. But I would do the same thing as True Chance, coming from a smaller. Oh, you did go the smaller school with Albany, so I like that. So Dev, we owe it all to Dev. We owe it all to Dev because his brother goes to Grand Valley State, and Dev went down there to his brother, say, "Hey, we're actually hurting someone in your backyard." Good work, Dev. Good work. He should be in the next month. Dev doing some work as a recruiter. Now, that's official. I'll give you my full thoughts. LSU had a good idea was committing earlier today. Now, you can always have a good word and it not actually happen. But they had a good idea. That's part of the reason why I went ahead and started the live stream at 6. But, honestly, I'm really excited that they finally got someone. I understand optic-wise, it doesn't look the absolute best when you've been in it and, this guy is, one of your other options. But the truth is, you got him locked in. So now, what's next? Well, for one, because it is so new, he will at the very least push the guys that are already in the room to take their game to the next level if they're going to want to play. All right. The second thing I would bring up, and I'll pull his profile, back up here with this being, Division II ball. This is a grown adult. Once again, his true freshman season was 2019. He is a 2019 recruit. So that is the same recruiting class as Cardell Thomas. It's the same recruiting class as John Emery, Derek Stingley Jr. So 2019 redshirted, 2020 no football, 2021 didn't play. And then the last 2 years he has started as a year 3 and a year 4 guy. And I think the biggest selling point, if you're not going to actually go watch him, is there were a bunch of other schools that were after him. USC was after him. Michigan was after him. Kentucky was after him. But it's a good day. It's a good day. Now, does LSU have a Michigan pipeline now? Maybe so. You go all the way back to Joseph Barksdale, right? Dev is ready to go see Thanos at St. Aug. He's meeting up with Frank. That's funny. That is so funny. All right. We'll go for another 5 minutes. Once again, if you super chat, we'll keep going all night. That is a good freaking day to be an LSU Tiger. Charles Turner's with the Patriots. He went undrafted. Spectrum, I think he's solid. All right, I do think he's solid. Well, there are other options I would have preferred, probably so, but it's something, right? It's worth bringing in at this point. Dorsey, Lavalley, Williams, all good last names. True. Suggs is a very good last name. It rolls off the tongue. Let's go to Tyler, the Venmo trivia champion. Nuss bus all the way to Cali. Huh? We're going to end this poll. 71% of you said yes. It's always good. Once again, thanks to our friends at nooffseason.com. Tell me more about Myron Warren from Manny. The bagman en route. Okay. We got a new dog. We don't, but our in-laws do, and it's eating up all the carpet. So we're going through it. Jvr Suggs. True story. The last time I saw Jvr Suggs in person was the same day I got this shirt. Ironic. And it just kind of came to me. He was at this game. Okay. He was at this game. So let's take a few more here. Once again, join our PHL Patreon. I'll have a film study out on JVR pretty soon. Okay. What's the latest on Trey Holly? I don't have anything on there. On that. I'm being serious. I really don't. I'm so like in the middle on if I'm willing to say he's going to play next year or not. I hope it does work out. I really do. Let's see. So Jordan's a Timberwolves guy. He is going through it right now. He is getting yokicked right now. So yes, Dom, if you're still watching on Twitter, happy Mother's Day to your mother, Dom. A little late on that though. Happy Mother's Day to all the PHL moms. It's still y'all's week. Suggs and LSU lock it in. We have viewers all the way in Puerto Rico. I love Puerto Rico. Actually, I've never been to Puerto Rico, so I shouldn't say. Oh, the trivia answer for the patrons. I've been so caught up with the Jvr Suggs thing. Let me go look. Yeah, we're doing a trivia giveaway. I'm glad you held me to that. Giving out this Kyron Lacey card. Okay. Got to go to patreon.com/LSU Football. Pulled this Kyron Lacey card this week. And we'll give it one more day. We'll give it a few more guesses. I haven't actually checked how many people have actually guessed or not. Let me see. All right. Look at that. We got a new patron. That's good. Okay, we've gotten 5 guesses in. Now it's kind of weird. We got over 50 patrons, but only 5 people have put guesses in. So we'll announce it tomorrow. How about that? I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. Oh, he's in the portal out of Texas State. Myron Warren. Jack takes in the top super chat at the death. Are you kidding me, Jack? I was getting ready to sign this off. Got to keep it going, though. Jack's in this thing. So Jack asked me on Instagram earlier this week, are we going to get him? And I said, I don't know. Like I said, unless I hear directly from someone at LSU, I just don't really care to chase any of this stuff down. I really, really, really don't. In the portal in particular. But man, the portal has worn boy out. Like it zapped the energy out of my soul. H. John Creole says, never did he think he would see the day LSU begging for an undersized defensive lineman from a small college? And you know what? There's a lot of truth in that. There's a lot of truth. I mean, he's not a big guy, and he's coming from Division II, and it's I said that a minute ago. It's not the absolute best look in the world, but it's something, right? That's how dire the situation became. But I don't think begging is the right word, as Pegasus points out, because in theory, Michigan was begging, USC was begging, Kentucky was begging, all these other schools were begging. Okay. There he is. Player X, good to see you and your beautiful soul. We'll take a few more here. Jack, you get the next question. Go right on ahead, my friend. But yeah, I don't think LSU begged any more than any other school begged. Let's go to Pin Jones. Warren currently about 280, but has a frame to put on 25 pounds plus. Should have 2 years left. Okay, so since you asked about him, I will pull up a profile on him. Okay. Myron Warren is his name. All right. Okay. 6'2", 275. Yeah. Look, I'll never discriminate for an undersized DT. I was a 185-pound DT. So he has 9 total tackles. Let's take a look at his game log. And he played 4 games at Texas State as a year 3 player. So I have not watched Myron Warren, and I appreciate your super chat. I really, really, really do, Ben. And I'm happy that Myron exists for you to donate $10 towards my cause. But I am out. All right. But look, his best ball is ahead of him, more than likely. Look, Jvr Suggs did not play his first 3 years of college ball. So Myron's best ball is ahead of him. Maybe he puts together a really good season this next year, and boom, you're at LSU the next. But I don't think it is I don't think it's worth an experiment at this point. I really don't think so. Let's go to Jack. He says, I'm glad we got Suggs. He might be a good backup. However, you never know. Do you think we will try to sign one more defensive tackle? So the question becomes, Jack, how many others are even out there? And the answer is probably not that many. I don't know. I don't have direct access to LSU's board, per se. I do know their scholarship numbers are getting higher. I think their focus will now go towards a Tennessee duo of Tyler Barron and whatever with the Ole Miss situation and Wesley. So we'll see. It is a good question though, Jack. Like it still probably won't be enough. Everybody welcome John Mouton to the channel. He says we should take Trevante Citizen. LSU needs another big back. So everyone welcome John to the channel. So Trevante Citizen is actually a player I liked a lot coming out of high school. Okay. He's a very, very interesting player. He was a thicker back coming out, and I like big backs. I cannot lie. But in his career, he has 0 carries. I was just confirming that. But look, athletically, he does fit a profile that I normally like to target if I was recruiting running backs. There's not really a whole lot out there built like him. But yeah, I mean, 0 carries up to this point though is interesting. I know he had some injury issues. I also think some LSU fans are still kind of burned out by his commitment address, doing the double hat. I find it all in jest, but I'm open, John. You might know more about Javonte than I do. I think he played out of high school in Lake Charles. But yeah, I'm open to it. I'm open to it. Everybody, welcome Chris to the. Well, no, Chris, you've been in here for a good little bit. Sir Mix-a-Lot reference. Nothing wrong with them. Some Sir Mix-a-Lot. Now, we'll keep it going. The second Wednesday stream in a row that goes 2 hours. Obviously, last week having Andy Staples on. In the next 5 to 10 minutes, I will answer as many questions as we possibly can. If you super chat, we'll keep it going. Once again, big thank you to our friends at nooffseason.com. Okay. But as of right now, I think the starting defensive tackles for LSU will be Jacoby and Guillory and Gio Paez. That's where I'm at right now. But we'll see. We'll see what Preston Hickey has got up his sleeve. We'll see what Demarion Johnson, maybe Jalen Lee breaks out. Good question here from Chase. Off the radar player that could pop or will pop this year. I won't give you a true freshman because that just seems too obvious. Kylan Jackson. We'll go with that as a could pop. Dirty Pop. Y'all know y'all like that song. Y'all know y'all like it. That's so funny. David goes Whit Weeks. Hey, I like a good Whit Weeks deep cut. Have I looked into Johnny Bowens or Bowens out of Oregon, big boy originally from Converse, Texas? I have not. Okay. So it looks like we have a only a year one. Is he only year one? Let me see. He had 2 tackles last year, but I'm interested if he's only a Yeah, he's only a year one guy. They say he went from 6'3", 265 to 6'3", 290. So you say big boy. Normally if I'm thinking big boy, you're thinking like 320. But that's tough. That's tough, but I'm open to it. I'm open to it. Taylor, do you think Pimpton explodes on offense this season as a wide receiver other than a tight end? So, everybody, welcome Taylor to the channel. Pimpton's got a good shot. I mean, Trades Green, they're very similar players. So, Trades will definitely push him to get to that next level as a player. At least Pimpton had a good spring game. Pegasus says, Carter, be honest, what's harder to follow, portal or high school recruiting? Portal recruiting has burned me out. It really has. I'm not gonna lie. The past month and a half of the channel, it's been tough because it's mostly just been focusing in on this one position, and defensive tackle is very important. Like I said, I've played it, but there's more to it than just that. And then it's just the whole this guy's getting this guy's getting that, and you got me and Andy got into it about how much a certain player was getting. And I could really care less. I could really care less. It matters, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't. Yeah, we had a good Shelton conversation recently. I hope so, Player X. I really do. Pierce says, I want to see Landon Ibieta and Matthew Langlois touch the field. Yeah, ironically, both of them have mostly only played in bowl games. Ibieta, I think he had a catch in the Purdue game. Matthew Langlois played some safety in the Kansas State game. But, yeah, I mean, in particular, I'm a Matthew Langlois fan because Point Capit Parish till I die, baby. New Roads, Louisiana. It's the best town in Louisiana. Don't argue with facts. Don't argue with it. And I don't make the facts. It's not what I do. Okay? Not what I do. I think he also played some special teams. Okay. Now I'm a Jvr Suggs fan. All right, I do want to show you this. I saw him post a photo of this. I didn't know this was a big thing for him. But he is a big dog guy. I've seen him post a few photos of his dog, who I think's passed. So I relate JVR. I do. I hope somebody asked him about the dog. There's the doggo. Love to see it. RIP to your dog, JVR. I did not see this. So his 4x100 high school team would have won the Big Ten title. That's crazy. We're getting to the Ole Miss hype section of tonight's live stream. And that means it's time for me to sayonara. Sorry about the live stream difficulties at the beginning. I had a full video thing. I'll post what I was going to post on Patreon tomorrow. Go sign up, and you can win this Kyron Lacey card and answer the trivia question. The closest to the correct answer will win big. Big day to be an LSU Tiger. Sure, it's not necessarily who you all wanted, but it's something. And you gotta start with something. It is. Oh, wait, hold on. Shout out to our top super chatters. Jared came in hot. Pin with the $9.99 super chat. But Jack takes home the top super chat. He wins it by a penny. Jack wins it by a penny. And y'all missed out on the greatest dad joke I've ever had. I think it was around like the 40-minute mark. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll probably go live tomorrow at 5 p.m. to avoid conflict with the baseball game, okay? It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. Big shout out yet again to our friends at nooffseason.com. And tonight we are doing, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know. Tonight we are doing, I think we're doing like a lamb dish. Let's go.